Just a final word on Austria right now. It's a move which has stirred debate in the country. The lower house of parliament has passed a ban on Muslim headscarves in schools for girls under the age of 14. The legislation has been backed by the ruling centrist coalition and the far-right Freedom Party, but it does face uncertainty over whether it will be deemed constitutional, as a similar ban for under 10s was struck down in 2020. Critics, including Amnesty International and Austria's Muslim community, have called it discriminatory, while supporters say it protects young girls from early sexualization. The Greens of Austria have meanwhile proposed alternative measures involving community and school intervention. It's time now for the latest in business. We could say hello to Camille Knight. Camille, we were just talking about Venezuela and its oil tanker, which is no longer in its hands. It's now set for US port. What is the significance of this for the Venezuelan economy?
And that's right. I mean, the US saying that it's planning on keeping the oil for itself. Caroline Levitt telling reporters that the tanker would be taken to that US port. Well, the skipper is believed to be carrying about 1.6 million barrels of heavy crude oil. That could be worth as much as $95 million, if not more. It's a huge blow to the shadow fleet of tankers that traffic Venezuelan oil. And we're now hearing Trump is willing to seize more in the future. This reflects a dramatic shift in strategy from the US, who until now had been more focused on fighting the influx of drugs. Let's hear from an expert.
Now what we see is another strategy, and with it another tactic, which is to starve the regime of resources, to take away the money that it receives from basically illegal oil shipments to allies, including China, Turkey, Iran, Russia.
Venezuela represents about a fifth of the world's oil reserves, and its illicit sales are a key source of income for its regime. But despite sitting on more oil than countries like Saudi Arabia, Russia, or the US, it only produces and sells about 1% of the crude oil the world is using. That's due to years of mismanagement, underinvestment, but also US sanctions that have squeezed its output. Venezuela now produces less than half of what it produced at its peak back in 2015. And in terms of who's buying, well, the US used to be its number one customer, but it's now China with around 400,000 barrels a day. The US does still continue to buy some, though, after it granted special export licenses to Chevron, who continues to operate in the country. So the US is walking a tightrope between punishing the Maduro regime through sanctions, but still buying some of the oil that it can't produce itself from a nearby and cheap location. So whatever the reason behind the US's actions in the Caribbean right now, oil will continue to play a central role as things develop. Now, the French industrial sector is facing another shock. France's last major home appliance maker, Brandt, has gone into compulsory liquidation, with 750 employees set to lose their jobs. Brandt was founded in 1924, just southwest of Paris. Workers gathered on Thursday to protest the court's decision. Here's a report from our colleagues at France Télévisions with Luc Schrago.
A century of history comes to an end with the failure of France's last manufacturer of large household appliances. Workers at a Brandt Group factory got word on Thursday morning.
That's the end of it. We know that we're being liquidated. In 3 weeks, we're all fired. So on January 1st. Happy New Year.
We are burning documents and files.
A plan to keep the company afloat and save around half of the 700 jobs lost with a new buyer and through a workers' cooperative was judged financially unsound.
We had a slim hope because we were kept in the loop, but we knew things were complicated when it came to the buyer's financing. And now it's all fallen apart. It's going to be really hard to live now.
Brandt would have needed 20 to 25 million euros to revive its fortunes. Regional authorities promised 20 million in public aid, but private funding just wasn't there.
The banks, we hunted them all for finance, and they all walked out for 4 million euros. Put in the salary of a handful of them, and they are your 4 million euros.
It's all part of a gloomy picture for French industry. While the nation's defence firms are doing well thanks to geopolitical tension, most other sectors have slowed because of enduring domestic political uncertainty. Brandt's issues stem more from a Europe-wide property slowdown hitting the large white goods sector and a rise in cheaper Asian imports in recent years.
A quick look at the markets now. European stocks closed higher on Thursday as investors digested the Fed's latest rate cut. France's CAC 40 leading gains, closing up nearly 0.8%. Very mixed open in the US, meanwhile. The Dow reaching new heights, boosted by a rise in Visa shares. The Nasdaq pulled back, though, after Oracle's disappointing results reignited worries over its hefty AI spending plans. Its shares tanked after the cloud computing software reported much lower than expected quarterly revenue on Wednesday, dragging other big names like Nvidia down with it. Now, Disney has become the first major Hollywood studio to make a big step into artificial intelligence. It's striking a deal with OpenAI, taking $1 billion stake in the company and giving its Sora video generation tool access to Disney's iconic characters. That means users will be able to make AI videos with its copyrighted characters like Snow White or Cinderella or Buzz Lightyear in the Sora app. The agreement does not include any talent likeness or voices. CEO Bob Iger is likely anticipating pushback from Hollywood's creative community amid anxiety over the impact of AI on the industry. Now, German food chain Lidl is getting inventive with its US advertising. It's giving Americans the chance to smell like it's 49-cent croissant by launching competition to win Eau de Croissant, a couture-inspired pastry-smelling fragrance. Now, it's not selling the perfume, but contestants are asked to follow the Instagram account, tag a friend, and share the post for a chance to win one of only 100 bottles available. Now, there's a lot of excitement in the comments, but winners will only be announced in about a week's time. The food chain is hoping to grow in the US because it's still a very small player there and hasn't been able to grow as fast as it may have hoped. It only has about 200 shops in the US, and competitors like Trader Joe's, Walmart, or even Aldi are all far in the lead. So let's see whether this Eau de Croissant wins over Americans. Not sure it would do so well in France.
I mean, it smells great when you walk past the bakery, but I don't suppose on the metro...
How that translates.
How that translates, you just get a whiff of it. Oh, my word. Croissant. There we go. Camille Knight, thank you so much for the business, all the hard-hitting news. There's more coming up on Prime News Paris here on France 24.